By the way, I should disclose I'm an Apple shareholder. I've been for decades, so I have no vested interest in it because the company comes back to me and says, Neil, you're trash or something. I'm not trash. I'm just pointing out that there are going to be shortages of this.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And there always are. And I always wonder whether they're manufactured.
I don't think they're manufactured.
Really?
No. I mean, they would like to get all the money into this quarter. This quarter is always a big deal.
Because I always hear that with each incarnation.
You know, their supply chain changes bit by bit as they go out and need new materials.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it's very hard to keep up to the incredible volume of things that they manufacture. Nobody sells, you know, millions and millions and millions of $1,000 anything.
Yeah, they actually ran into some issues this year because they were going to launch a touch screen that was kind of built into the screen itself. So you wouldn't even see a button, and it was going to be built into the screen, and that was their original plan. And then the manufacturers were not able to pull it off, so they had to yank it from this premium phone. So there's really no Touch ID on this phone. So that
what does it have? It has
facial recognition, yeah, IR scanning,
work in
stuff
the
like
dark.
that.
That's a little weird.
Well, it's infrared scanning, so it's doing almost a 3D capture of your face.
I don't want my phone to scare me. Do you? I mean,
it scares me already, so I'm right there.
Cassie, well, looking at this, and of course they are going to have some of their less expensive alternatives out there, so presumably something for every price point. But how do you think this is going to sort out? Is there any risk of the company cannibalizing off of other products, its own, namely?
Yes, I did see an analyst report that is concerned about that. As the increment of the price goes up every $50, $100, they are at risk of that. You know, there's a low-end model for a lot of the iPhones. There's a mid-end model, but I think this one is the ultra Uber model of the iPhone, and I think that they really haven't come out with something that's this very top tier, and this is a complete redesign, like the other gentlemen were saying. They haven't had an extreme radical redesign since the 5. So this is really for that top tier level. So they are at risk of that. I did see some comment on that, but I think that, you know, generally this is the one that people are going to go to that really want to look, you know, that are wealthy. They want to show that they have the high technology. You know, Apple does a really good job of building up a lot of hype and not having enough. And,
but they also sometimes seem to me, guys, to be product-centric, or they're hard device-centric, and maybe that's great. It has all the bells and whistles like this, but a lot of these companies make it off services or make it off, and maybe Apple TV will be the details of that.
Apple's service revenue went up from 14% to 16%. 16% of all its revenues are services.
So through iTunes
phone,
and all of that, right?
All these things, even the fancy emojis that are coming out today, which you could dismiss
Emoji.
which you could dismiss as ridiculous.
What does that mean, by the way, this active emoji? What is it? It's more animated?
It's animated. It's some moving, essentially.
Yeah, they're going to use the face recognition software to be able to animate an emoji. Yeah, so I mean, there's little things like that people, once you see somebody else has that, they say, oh, I really want that.
You know, so I could see someone with that, and I would not be at all inclined to want the same thing.
Yes, you would, Neil.
No,
you want to animate a poop, right?
But in other words, you guys seem to be saying, just to be clear, and I'm joking with you there, but and I didn't think of, you know, all the other stuff with the iTunes and everything else and all these other services that can weather a hardware product that might not sell as well. Do you think it can? Because the stock is racing up right now, very close to an all-time high.
I think they're trying to build that business, and obviously we're seeing increases. Yeah. It's not at Amazon's level in terms of service, but it is a much more stable form of income, and I think that's their plan 3 years down the road. That's where they want to be at 30% or 50%
and
of
I think for
income.
Investors, it's very significant because it's a much more predictable income stream than the ups and downs of products.
You're not going to cancel your Netflix account. Same thing with Apple.
Fair enough.
Cancel Apple.
And no word yet on what kind of movies they're going to get into and make on their own. They'll be a rival to this network.
Hopefully
Who knows?
Be better than Planet of the Apps.
Well, yeah, they've got a lot of that. So early on, there was another play on this. Some of the ancillary players, like the carriers, like all the phone carriers here, you know, for Sprint and AT&T and all these others, are they going to be ancillary beneficiaries in a big way? That's the halo effect of Apple, and we're already beginning to see it. All the others who have so much at stake, including many argue our economy itself. For example, if you're prone to buy this, are you less prone to buy anything else for anyone else you love? Are you that selfish? Are you that materialistic? Apple is hoping you are.